Hey scholars, it's Mrs. Jasnika, and today for art class, we're going to be practicing how to draw shapes. For this assignment, you will need a pencil, a piece of paper, and if you like to color, then you need crayons or markers or colored pencils. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to be drawing a few shapes today, and I wanted to show them to you before we started drawing them. So here are some of the shapes that we're going to be drawing today. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to draw an oval. We're going to draw a heart. We're going to draw a triangle. We're going to draw a rectangle. And finally, we're going to draw a square. Now, like I said earlier, you don't have to color these. You can just outline them and try practicing. But if you want to color, you can use crayons, markers, or colored pencils. I'm going to be using crayons and markers. So, I'm going to start off with a circle. Now, when we draw a circle, you can see that the shape is round and it's a line that goes around. So I am going to start up here and I'm going to try to make a curved line. So first, when I hold my pencil, I'm left-handed, so I'm holding my pencil in my left hand. I'm going to put the pencil down to the paper. I have my hand on the table and I'm going to try to draw a round shape. Now it's okay if it's not perfect. You can always erase and try again. Sometimes it's easier to draw a shape when it's small. So I'm going to draw a circle in the middle. And you can see that my circle in the middle looks nicer than my circle that was big. And that's okay. Now, I'm going to practice drawing an oval. An oval is kind of like a circle, except that on one part it goes longer. So instead of being like this, it goes like that. So we're going to try practicing the shape of an oval. Let me erase this real quick. Now, if you're watching this from home, you should have your white paper out and you should try to practice these shapes. That way when we're doing art, you know how to draw them. So I'm going to put my pencil on the paper and I'm going to try to draw a long shape that's round. So what I did was I started and then I connected my line back to where it started. So you can do this a bunch of times so that you can practice what an oval looks like. Now we're going to practice a heart. This is a little more difficult, but it also has rounded edges. See here how it looks kind of like a circle? But down here it's pointy. So we're going to start off. If you know what a J looks like, this is a J. We're going to be using that J but upside down. So watch. Here is a J. So if I hold the paper like this, it looks like a backwards J. Kind of looks like a candy cane too. And then we're going to make that same shape on this side. See, so again, if I turn this around, this looks like a J. This is a J. So to make a heart, you need two J shapes. We're going to practice again. So I'm going to make the same thing again here. This time I'm going to do the paper upside down so you can see how I'm using the J shape. So here is my J. Looks like a J. Then I'm gonna tilt my paper and do a backwards J. See? When I turn the paper, it's a heart. So now I'm gonna draw it fast. That's what a heart looks like. Let's move on to our next shape. Our next shape is a triangle. So a triangle has 3 sides. 1, 2, 3 straight sides. So when we draw a triangle, we got to start off with one line that's straight, and then we move to the next straight line and another straight line. If you're drawing a triangle and you don't see 3 points, then it's not a triangle. So let's try it. I want to make one line. And again, it's okay to mess up. Sometimes it's difficult to make a straight line. So here is my straight line. Now I have to make another straight line. This one's going to go sideways. There's my straight line. Now I have to connect them. So I have to make the last side, the third side. And that's going to be another line going from here to here. Now see, mine didn't come out perfectly straight, and that's okay, because I can always erase, and it doesn't have to be perfect anyway. That's a little better. Let's practice again. I'm gonna make a straight line. This time I'm gonna start on this side. It's kind of at an angle. See, it's going this way. And that's one edge of my triangle. Now I'm going to make another line. It's kind of like I'm making the letter A, but really fat. See, that's kind of what an A looks like. So when you do an A, this is what an A looks like, right? But this time, instead of putting that little stick in the middle, we're gonna connect these 2 lines. So if it's easier for you to make a triangle by making the letter A, that's what an A looks like, right? Now we take that stick away and put it down here. That's a triangle right there. See? Let's move on to our next shapes. This time we're going to be doing a rectangle. So a rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 2 sides are long and 2 sides are short. So I'm going to start at the top with a straight line. There's my straight line. And now I'm going to make another straight line down here. And now I'm going to connect them. I'm going to connect this to here and this to here. Let's try that again, but this time we're going to do it one line at a time. So I'm going to do a short line, then I'm going to go down, I'll make a longer line, then I'm going to make a short line, and now I got to connect the 2 short lines. Ta-da! Now the difference between a rectangle and a square is that a square has lines that are the same size all around. See, so a rectangle has 2 long lines and then 2 short lines. But this one, all the sides are the same. They both have 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. let's draw a square. So I'm going to start off with a line at the top, and now I'm going to try to make a line on the side that's the same length. That means I'm going to try to make it the same size line, like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's sort of the same line size. And now I'm going to make a line that goes this way. And now I got to connect the bottom and the top, like that. So if you're drawing a square like this, but you make one side too long, is this a square? No, this is a rectangle. So you gotta try to make sure that all the sides are the same length. So I'm gonna do another one. There's one line, there's one line. Here's another line, and then here's the last line. So how many lines are you gonna do to make a square? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I made that one too long. 4. Let's erase that little piece. So here's my paper, practicing how to do all the shapes. And if you're having trouble with any of the shapes, then you should try practicing them more. So before I color, let's go over these shapes again. So this is a circle. It says purple circle, and then it says it in Spanish, círculo morado. This one says orange oval, óvalo anaranjado. This one says green heart, corazón verde. So the bottom says it in Spanish. This one says red triangle, triángulo rojo. This one says white rectangle, rectángulo blanco. And finally, this one says blue square, cuadrado azul. We're gonna color them in. Let's see. So this one is a purple circle, so let me find a purple crayon. And I'm gonna color a purple circle. When I color, I wanna try to stay inside the lines. So I usually color around the edge, like this. And I go real slow and I make circles like this. This helps me color inside the lines. If I scribble scrabble like this, I'm gonna come out of the lines, and I don't want that. So I go really slow, and that's okay. Because if you go slow and take your time, it's gonna look nicer. Now I have my purple circle. What's the next color? An orange oval. Let's get an orange crayon. And I'm gonna color the big oval. Now I'm gonna turn my paper sideways a little bit. And I'm gonna start at the edges again. I'm gonna color right at the edge, but I don't wanna come out of the lines. So I'm gonna go really slow. Now if you do come out of the lines, that's okay. We're practicing. Now I get to color the inside. And it's gonna be easier to color the inside because I have this line of color on the side. And see, I'm just making circle shapes like this. See how I put my crayon down on the paper sideways? And then I make circle shapes. And I go really slow. I'm not going to scribble scrabble because I don't want it to look messy and I want to stay inside the lines. If I see any white, I'm going to try to cover it up. I want it to look nice and neat. So the more time I take, the nicer it's going to look. What's the next color? All right, our heart is gonna be green. I'm gonna color this medium-sized heart in green. I'm gonna go around the edges. And again, I'm left-handed, so I color with my left hand, but some of you are gonna be coloring with your right hand. Now, I can't really color that well with my right hand, so it wouldn't look very nice. See, I can't really do it that well. One hand is going to be easier for you to color with. Whichever hand that is, that's the hand you should be using to color. I came out of the line a little bit right here, but that's okay. There is my green heart. What's the next color? A red triangle. Now, if you're at home and you don't have a certain color, it's okay. You can color them any color. We're just practicing how to draw. And we're also practicing how to stay inside the lines. So this time I'm going to use a marker. And I'm going to color this triangle over here red. I'm going to start by outlining the edges. Now remember, you got to try to stay inside the lines. And if that takes a little while, that's okay. Because in art, we try to stay inside the lines and not scribble scrabble. So now that I outlined it, now I'm going to color. I go nice and slow, and I color everything. I don't want to leave any white space. There we go. Let's see what's next. A white rectangle. Well, I guess I don't need to color it, huh? Well, you know what? I'll pick a different color. That way I can color one of the rectangles. So I'm going to pick yellow. And I'm going to use a crayon this time, and then for this one I'll use a marker. Okay, so we're going to start off coloring on the edges. And we're going to stay inside the lines. Whenever you're coloring, you got to practice staying inside the lines. And sometimes that's difficult, but that's why we practice. This is how I color. You don't have to color the same, but you should try to stay inside the lines. See, I'm going to go slower so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And now, finally, we have a blue square. So I am going to color with a marker for this last one. And again, for every single drawing that we do, we're trying to stay inside the lines. So I am going to start with the outline. And the more you practice, the better. So if you make a bunch of shapes, then your last shape is going to look better than the first one you did because you practiced more. There we go. And now we still have a bunch of other shapes. I guess I'll color one. It could be any color. Oh, I came out of the lines a little bit, but that's okay. So you can color your shapes any color you want. I just colored some of them these colors because I wanted them to look the same. So now you're going to keep practicing your shapes so that when we have art class, you know how to draw them better. You're going to practice drawing a square, a circle, an oval, a heart, a triangle, and a rectangle.